Okay, welcome to Skinnybru Rugby. This week we'll talk about round 4. If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, please do and click that bell icon next to it here in the bottom right somewhere. So round 4, usually this time of year we get a few answers. We know how the season is going to shape up. We can see who's contenders and so on. But not this year. This year we have a bunch of questions and only about one answer. And that is that the Crusaders are looking good and unbeatable. Let's get into some of the questions. The questions this season is who are the bad teams and who are the good ones? I mean, for a few examples, the Rebels, are they contenders or are they going to do the same thing as last year where they win a few big games and then they go on a losing streak? Are the Bulls good? They beat the Stormers, they lost to the Jaguars, and then they beat the Lions. So what does that mean? And then for the Lions, they beat the Jaguars, but then they went on to lose against the Stormers and the Bulls. And then mentioning the Stormers, they are bad, right? They're not playing good this season, but they have 2 victories. What's going on over there? The Chiefs, no one knows what's going on there. They are losing everything. They're not even looking like they're gonna win a game. The Jaguars, they are playing really well. They lost that one game, but further they're playing really well. But are they gonna keep it up, or are they gonna start getting a bunch of yellow cards in all their games and then losing because they are outnumbered in every game? And then the Sunwolves, they played poorly against the Sharks, but from there on they played good against the Waratahs, I think, and then they played excellent against the Chiefs to get their first victory ever away from home. So yeah, that's the issues I have. That being said, let's get into the predictions of this week. Okay, so the first game of the weekend is the Hurricanes versus the Highlanders. The Hurricanes are looking very good. They only have that one loss against the Crusaders at home. While the Highlanders haven't been looking that convincing this season in those victories against the Reds and the Chiefs. And they also lost against the Rebels. So I'm thinking the Hurricanes by 7. Then it's the Rebels versus the Brumbies. The Rebels did play really well in the first 2 games. That Cooper-Genia combination is becoming good, but Cooper still gives that 50-50 passes sometimes that does more harm to his team than good. Then the Brumbies, they have already lost to the Rebels this season, and that was at home, and now they're playing the Rebels in Melbourne, so I'm thinking the Rebels has the edge on that one. The Brumbies did beat the Chiefs, but as we've seen this season, the Chiefs aren't playing that well. So I'm thinking the Rebels by 5. Then it's the Crusaders versus the Chiefs. The Crusaders are looking really good this season, and I don't think they're going to lose yet. The Chiefs are going to play better, but I'm thinking the Crusaders will win comfortably, but not as far as you would expect, because I think the Chiefs are going to play better in this game. So I'm thinking the Crusaders by 12. Okay, then the next game, the Blues versus the Sunwolves. So the Blues have had 3 losses, but they haven't looked that badly in 2 of those games against the Jaguars and the Crusaders. But the Sunwolves really played really good in that game against the Chiefs last week, and they are staying in New Zealand with the Blues traveling over from Argentina back home. So I think they have the edge there travel wise. And the Blues are considered to be the weakest New Zealand team usually. So I'm thinking the Sunwolves are going to play really well this week. So I hope I don't regret this, but I think the Sunwolves are going to beat the Blues by 2. If I've learned anything from predictions is always go with your gut feel and never second guess yourself. So I'm thinking the Sunwolves for this one. Then the next one is the Waratahs versus the Reds. The Waratahs have only played 2 games. They lost to the Hurricanes by 1, and then they beat the Sunwolves by 1. And the Reds has also just played 2 games, and both of them they lost, but it was very close. So I'm thinking it will be a tough game, but I'm thinking the Waratahs, because they are at home, has the edge. I'm thinking the Waratahs by 5. Then it's the Lions versus the Jaguares in Johannesburg. The Lions have looked very poor, but they have beaten the Jaguares once in Argentina this year. So I'm thinking they're gonna try and repeat that. The Jaguares are traveling over from Argentina, so for that first away game, the teams usually don't do that well. So I'm thinking the Lions are gonna beat the Jaguares by 12. Then the last game for the weekend is the Bulls versus the Sharks in Pretoria. The Bulls have had big wins over the Stormers and the Lions. The Sharks have had 2 victories over the Blues and the Sunwolves, which are traditionally weaker sides. So taking that into account, and also the Sharks that lost to the Stormers, even though the Stormers didn't play that well, I think the Bulls are going to beat the Sharks for sure. Okay, then we move on to the fantasy team. At the prop I have Medrano. You know the Jaguares scrum is always a threat, and he has been scrumming really well, so I've backed him. At prop I have Alan Alaalatoa. He's a solid scrummager and he's been doing well for the Brumbies this year. Then at hooker it's Dane Coles. He's been performing really well since he's started games this year. With Riccatelli playing really well last year, I think he's trying to prove himself to get into that starting spot first at the Hurricanes, and then obviously retaining that spot at the All Blacks. Then the next player is Scott Barrett. He's an easy pick. He has weekly been in my dream team. He is really good at his lineouts. He has strong carries, and every now and then he pops up to score a try. Then it's Philip from the Rebels. He has a higher rating than most of the other locks, even though he has still only played 2 games, and the other locks have played 3. In the loose forwards I have Savea. He has been great in 2 games, scoring a lot of tries and taking the ball forward. Todd from the Crusaders, he always gives consistent performances. You know he will put in a hard shift. Then it's Dan de Pree. He has been playing great for the Sharks, even when the Sharks aren't performing that well. At the scrum half for round 4 I have Will Guinea. I'm expecting a good game from him. He is linking up well with Quade Cooper. We all know what they can do together, so they are getting used to playing together again, and I think this round he's going to perform well again. Then at fly half, Pollard, he was the easiest pick of the weekend. He's a top scorer for the Super Rugby at the moment. His goal kicking has been on the mark. I think he's the reason the Bulls are playing this well. Then at centre I have Laumape. He had a poor start, but he's looking better after that game he had with Barrett last week. They just reminded us what they can do together, scoring 3 tries in that game. Then it's Samu Karevi. He's a leader in that young Reds team, and when he takes charge of a game, he makes devastating runs and sets up a lot of tries and scores a few himself. Ben Lamb, he's good in that Hurricanes team. He hasn't been scoring that much compared to last season, but I think that's still with 3 tries under his belt this season. My next outside back is Van den Heever. He's been playing well in this last 2 games, so I'm putting my faith in him, even though it's a bit of a risk, but hopefully that pays off. Then it's Falau. He was good in that first 2 games of the Waratahs, and I'm hoping for the same. We all know what Falau can do. Okay guys, that's a preview for this week. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Join the Superbru pool if you haven't, and then you can also like the Facebook page, Skinnybru Rugby, if you want an update on Facebook when I upload videos. That's all for this week. See you for the review video.